Hi, hello, welcome back to Sri's channel. Today let us go with active passive voice. In this video let us learn what is active voice, what is passive voice, what are the rules in changing from active to passive. Those all we can learn in this video. Coming to active voice means in which verb speaks of its subject as acting. It is said to be in active voice. If the verb speaks about its subject, which is acting, then it is called as active voice. For instance, he wrote a letter. So who did the work? He did the work. So he wrote a letter. He is the subject. He is the doer of the action. The action is here writing. So it is called active voice. Coming to passive voice, when the verb speaks of its subject of being acted upon or having something done to it, it is said to be in passive voice. For example, a letter was written by him. It means that in active voice, he is the one who did the work. He wrote a letter. And coming to passive, here letter cannot be written by itself. Someone has to be written. But we are talking in perspective of letter. Letter was written by him. So here subject is a letter, but it was written by him. So here the verb is representing the letter called subject, which is acted upon by the object called him. So to be simple, if the subject plays active role, it is active. If the object plays active role, it is passive. Coming to here, there are few points to be remembered. Only transitive verbs. So what are transitive verbs? I'll provide you the links for transitive verbs in the description box. Please check with that so that you can have the clear idea what are transitive verbs. So transitive verbs that need an object to complete their sense. So such transitive verbs which can carry from subject to object and action, such verbs only can ever be in passive. In transitive verbs we can't change into passive, and in active voice the subject is given supreme importance, and in passive voice object is given supreme importance. It means that in passive object is given prior importance, and in active subject is given the prior importance. One more example. Tom killed a snake. A snake was killed by Tom. So Tom killed a snake. Here Tom is given prior importance and he is the subject. Subject means doer of the action. So Tom killed a snake. Coming to passive, a snake was killed by Tom. So in changing from active to passive, here are three parts. In first part, the rules for changing the voice. So the general form for active voice is subject plus verb plus object. Coming to general form of passive, as we discussed, here in passive object plays supreme importance. So object plus be form plus past participle, that is V3. So rule 1 is that object of AV is the short form, active voice is changed into the subject in passive voice. So object in active voice will be as subject in passive voice. Coming to the second rule, subject of active voice is changed into object in passive preceding by. Coming to the subject will be changed to object and it will be preceded by. And it is not always important that object should be in passive voice. It can be omitted. Coming to the rule 3, after the subject, use proper form of be according to the tense and number of the subject. Depending upon the subject, singular or plural, or the tense, we need to pick the appropriate be form, that is am, is, are, was, were. So from these 5 be forms, we need to pick the suitable helping verb depending upon the tense and plurality of the subject. Here are the examples. Tom killed a snake. A snake was killed by Tom. So subject is changed to object, object is changed to subject, and suitable be form should be selected depending upon the tense and plurality of the subject. I trained a dog. A dog was trained by me. Coming to transformation of sentences, that is part 2. How to change the sentence from active to passive for present, past and future is given in detail. Coming to first, present tense, simple present tense. The structure will be subject plus V1 plus S or ES plus object, that is for active. Coming to passive, subject, that is object will be changed to subject. So subject plus am or is or plus past participle. For instance, he writes a letter, which is simple present tense. When it is changed, object will be as subject. So a letter, since it is present and we are talking about a letter which is singular, so is written V3 by him. We have to write by, and obviously subject will become as object. So him, he became him. He writes a letter is written by him. Coming to present continuous tense, subject plus am or is or plus ing form, that is active form. Coming to passive form, subject plus am or is or plus being plus V3. So for instance, he is writing a letter. Now a letter is being written by him. Coming to present perfect, subject plus has or have plus past participle. I'll provide the link for tenses in the description box. Please go through for that. If you have grip on structures of tenses and regular irregular verbs, then only active passive voice can be done easily. So coming to passive form, subject plus has or have plus been plus V3. One thing you can remember, if the tense is in continuous, whether it may be present or past or future, present or past, being will be added in passive. And if it is perfect, been will be added. So a letter is being written, a letter has been written. And no change in V3s, all passive voice, in all passive voice, whatever the tense might be, verb will be in V3 form only. And it will be preceded by. So a letter has been written by him. If letters have been written, that's the only change. And in present perfect continuous, we don't have any passive form. Coming to past tense, simple past, that is subject plus V2 plus object. For instance, he wrote a letter. It will be changed to subject plus was or were plus V3. That is, a letter was written by him. If you can observe, subjects, objects are not changing and V3 also not changing. It is just that helping verbs, be forms are changing here. Depending upon the tense, we need to change them. And coming to past continuous tense, subject plus was or were plus ing form. That is active voice. Coming to passive form, subject plus was or were plus being. As I said, if it is continuous, being. If it is perfect, been. So being plus V3. For instance, he was writing a letter. A letter was being written by him. Past perfect, subject plus had plus past participle, that is AV. Coming to PV, passive voice, subject plus had plus it is perfect. So been. Once again I tell you, if it is continuous we need to use being. If it is perfect, use been. That's it. It is very simple. He had written a letter. A letter, subject will be object, object will be subject. So a letter had been written by him. That's it. Coming to past perfect tense, continuous tense has no passive form. And future, simple future, subject plus will or shall plus V1, that is active voice. Coming to passive form, subject plus will or shall plus be. So will be written. He will write a letter will be written by him. Coming to future continuous tense, subject plus will or shall plus have plus V3, that is active voice. And for that passive voice will be subject plus will or shall plus have plus been plus V3. So he will have written a letter will have been written by him. Only in future continuous tense we don't use being. We have used in present and past continuous tense we have used being, and perfect, present perfect, past perfect we have used been, and for future continuous tense we have used been, not being, because future perfect and future perfect continuous both don't have passive forms. And we have special forms, special notes is there, that is part 3. If the sentence is imperative or interrogative, then how to change? Suppose if it is imperative, we have to use let plus subject plus be form plus past participle. For example, hang him, that is an imperative. What are imperative? What are the types of sentences called? I'll make a video in upcoming session, and I'll provide the links for auxiliary verbs, verbs and regular irregular verbs also in this video, in the description box, so that you can have a clear idea. Now hang him is an active voice. Who will hang? Who will be hanged? No, subject details are not given. Then for such you can use let him be hanged. Coming to interrogatives. Interrogatives are questioning words, so questioning sentences. For such, passive voice can be question word plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus past participle. For instance, who killed the snake? It's a question. Then how to change it? Object should be subject, subject should be object. By whom? And we don't know who killed it. There is no clear evidence that who killed it. So by whom was the snake killed? I hope you understood. If you like my channel, please subscribe and press bell button. Thank you.